Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com, and these are the market positions for November the 22nd, 2011. Now our first trade for tonight is going to be in December crude oil futures. We're going to be looking at selling this. Right now we're above the vantage point key support level of 95.68. I expect that this area will come under pressure very soon. Now looking at this particular setup, what we're going to do is we're going to begin with our short-term crossover. We're looking at getting in at a potential trend reversal here. Now I've talked about this extensively in the last few weeks in the Forex Weekly Outlook that any move up in crude oil is an excellent selling opportunity, but under the current global economic situation, buying crude oil, very, very dangerous play. Now in support of that, that's a fundamental that clearly points to weakness in crude oil, not strength. When we look at the vantage point indicators, specifically the short-term crossover is crossed to the downside, but more importantly, the predicted MACD and the predicted TSI from vantage point using these combination indicators are suggesting that crude oil is clearly hitting a top here, and we could be looking at a significant move lower. And again, I point out to the 2008 financial crisis that took place in the US, virtually the same thing that's happening in the Eurozone right now. Crude oil was very quickly moved to under $50 a barrel within a matter of a few short months. So again, this definitely looks like a top setting up. We are getting into this trade early. I do expect volatility to be clear. Our predicted short, medium, and long-term differences heavily overbought. This is the perfect type of setup you look for a medium-term trade, not just a short little day scalp. We can do that too. We'll go into the daily report in a moment and look at that, but from a medium-term perspective, we could be looking at a much deeper move lower. So with that said, we've got that support down in that 95.68 area, but for tomorrow, the range from vantage point 99.80 to 95.35. I respect the vantage point daily report, but I don't think we're going to get that high. So when we come back here and we look at the vantage point predicted short, medium, and long-term crossovers, and then the triple EMA cross, what we're looking for is some pivot areas up top. We have 98.61, 98.14, and then we have 95.68 with a close of 97.41. So for tomorrow, I'm going to use this level, 98.61, to enter our short position, and we're going to target intraday 95.68. Medium and longer term traders, I would be targeting much lower. So that's our first trade for tonight. Now our second trade is going to be in the US Canadian pair. Now the first thing I want to point out is that this trade is very highly correlated to the crude oil futures. So we would not want to do both of these at the same time. This is simply an alternative trade, but it's based around a very similar correlation. In looking at the Vantage Point software, I've talked about this over the last couple of weeks. We've been getting long on the US Canadian pair down around that parity and above. It's now starting to break higher on a very similar signal that I see on crude oil right now. It starts off a little choppy, but the trade progresses. Now looking at this one, key levels 101.60, 101.67. So we know we want to have our stops below this particular area, 101.99 and 102.49. Now, what I want to point out is the U.S. Canadian pair has been holding below the 102.40 area for several weeks now. Very, very choppy trade with the risk on, risk off, but we finally broken considerably higher. Today we pushed, I believe, all the way up towards the 104 area. Very, very good move, very strong move today. So what we're looking for is a minor retracement and then to get back into that long trade. 102.49 in this particular case comes to mind. Predicted MACD, predicted true strength indicator, all fully supportive of this trade. When we come into our daily report, utilizing all of the Vantage Point tools, we can see we have 103.17 and 104.39. So for tomorrow, your aggressive traders can use this 103.17 area to get into your longs. Your less aggressive traders can go in around that 102.49 area, which I suspect it's possible we'll see, because the 102.49 area has been the former resistance that's contained the market for several weeks, and it was completely shattered today. Now again, we're looking at any indications we can to see what's actually been going on. You can see today we've hit 104.20. So we've made a very, very clean break. Now, again, the markets never just go straight up or straight down. It just doesn't work that way. There's going to be a retracement tomorrow. There's two identifiable areas that we want to use. The 103.17, which is the Vantage Point predicted low. The second one, the Vantage Point 3-day predicted moving average at the 102.49 area. So anywhere within that range, we are going to use that pullback to reset our long positions, and our stops would be below the 101.50 area. And again, I think we have a very good potential for the US-Canada. Now it looks to me it's set a range between the 99 and this former top at the 106.50. So with that said, my name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com, and these are the market positions for November the 22nd, 2011.